What is going on, guys? Today we have a great video for you. We are going to talk about Robinhood stock. This is a stock that I've been talking about a little bit over the last couple weeks and why I like the stock. We're basically going to get into that today. We're going to take a look at some recent news as well that was released on the stock that everyone who pays any attention to Robinhood has already heard about. We're just going to go a little more in depth, spend a little time looking at it, give my opinion on it. And then we're going to actually take a look at something very interesting about Robinhood stock that a lot of people don't really know, but is very interesting if you are a shareholder or looking to become a shareholder. And then the last thing we'll take a look at here in this video is price targets. So where do analysts see the stock going over the next year? What's the average price target? What's the high price target? We're going to take a look at all of that. So if you like the video, make sure you drop a like down below. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you hit that sub button. So first, let's take a look at the chart. And what we have here is Robinhood is down almost 4.5%. So that is a crazy amount just in this day. But what we've seen over the last 5 days, they're actually up almost 10%. And a lot of that has to do with what we're going to get into here in this first news article of basically some interesting news that drove the stock price up here on Monday. And then ever since then, it's kind of been pulling back as some of that news has, gotten priced into the stock, whether things are going to happen, not going to happen, people just figuring out what this news actually means for the stock long term. Over the last 6 months, what we're seeing is they're down over 53%. And it gets even worse when we look at the year chart. At the year chart, when we price it, we're seeing a year ago is at $35. It's down over 75.5%. And that'll only get worse over the next couple of months, because what we'll see is here in August, the stock actually peaked out. So if you remember, Robinhood kind of IPO'd and then went on this run up and then kind of just pulled back, and you can see it kind of sat here. And this is when a lot of, here in September, October, that's when a lot of the bad news and inflation concerns really started hitting a lot of these small cap stocks. And Robinhood is one that just got decimated throughout that process. Here's the news that we are taking a look at today. And this was released, like I said, on Monday and caused the stock to go up 14% in one day, which actually halted the trading on the stock, which is crazy. Normally stocks get halted when they're just driving down. Just some news was announced that this causes the stock to crash, and normally they get halted. But this is a situation where Robinhood basically exploded up so quick that it actually got halted on the way up. And that news is that FTX, which is a basically crypto brokerage, they are exploring the option, or at least this is what the headline says, of acquiring Robinhood. So that's kind of what was released. What we'll see here is that's not exactly what was said or what's actually happening. So here's what we talked about there. Robinhood jumps on Monday after Bloomberg News reported crypto exchange FTX is considering acquiring the trading app. The stock soared 14% in its session high, or to its session high, and was briefly halted after a report that FTX was discussing a takeover plan internally. And then here's what's kind of interesting. So here's the actual statement that Bankman-Fried announced. He's Sam Bankman. Basically, he is the CEO of FTX and actually started the brokerage. So what he says here is, we are excited about Robinhood's business prospects and potential ways we could partner with them. And I want to highlight partner because that's way different than acquisition. And I've always been very impressed, or have been impressed by the business that Vlad and his team built. So Vlad is the CEO of Robinhood. And then he says here that being said, there is no active M&A conversations with Robinhood, so merger or acquisition conversations. So again, jumping back to partner, this does not mean the same thing as merger and acquisition, like that FTX is looking to buy out Robinhood. Basically what they're saying, if I'm reading this, I'm thinking that they're saying, hey, what's a way we can both benefit and get people to use both of our platforms? Maybe, right, if you sign up for Robinhood and FTX in the same month, then we will give you, $100 or $200 of Bitcoin and $200 worth of free stock or something. Basically something like that is how I'm reading this, but the market read it completely different. And there's kind of a reason for that. So I'm not saying the market is wrong in their thinking, right? Because the market is looking at this and they're looking at a few different variables. So I could easily see FTX acquiring Robinhood. But I honestly don't think Vlad would be willing to sell the company. He's, a starter founder, and a lot of starter founders, it's very difficult for them to step away. So unless he's feeling like, he can't go any further, or he wants to explore a different opportunity in business, I don't really see Vlad, stepping away from Robinhood. He does have some bad reputations and things going on with the company, which would kind of allude to something similar to what happened with Uber when their CEO, I forget his name, but he basically had to step away again because of a lot of concerns with the company and stuff like that going on. So overall, that it could turn into a similar situation. But what we're seeing here, what I've highlighted here, is something that you have to understand and kind of alludes to the potential of a merger or acquisition. So Bankman, he actually owns 6.7%. He owns a 7.6% stake in Robinhood, which is worth $648 million. So he already is a huge investor in Robinhood. And I think this is him personally. So it wouldn't be that far of a stretch for him to say, well, why not own the whole company and basically pull it under FTX and have basically a combined entity that has already the established stock trading platform in Robinhood and then an established crypto trading platform in FTX. The last thing I wanted to touch on here is basically how this would be the perfect time for an FTX to acquire a Robinhood. So Robinhood has been getting hurt very, very bad. And FTX has the potential basically to buy it at what you could call a discount. So right now, basically for the first quarter, their revenue fell 43% from a year ago. So it's down to $299 million in revenue. Robinhood also has lost a lot of monthly users. So their monthly user activity is down from 17.7 million to 15.9 million. So these metrics are standing out. Everything's trending in the wrong direction, right? That you wouldn't want to see. But you also have to consider, right? A lot of these last 2 years, we've had everything going on with AMC and GameStop, which drove a ton of attention basically to the stock market. That was all over the news, things going on. And that drove a bunch of users to our Robinhood. And then you also have all the crypto news and things that have been going on. Crypto spiking up, Dogecoin, Shiba, everything like that that's been going on that's driven a ton of users to Robinhood. And it's actually surprising that they've only lost, in my opinion, it's surprising that they've only lost 2 million monthly active users. I would expect that to be a lot more. I'm sure they gained a lot more over the last 2 years, significantly more than what they've lost there. And that's overall, this would be a good time for an FTX to get Robinhood at a very good discount compared to, its all-time highs of almost $90. Another thing that is very, very interesting with Robinhood is this number right here. So what we are at right now is $7.38 billion in market cap. And obviously that changes day to day as the stock price changes. So it could be up higher by the time you see this video. It could be lower by the time you see this video. But what's interesting is when we jump over here to Yahoo Finance, we have their balance sheet. And Robinhood's balance sheet, just to show you that this is Robinhood stock, their cash and cash equivalents is $6.28 billion. So basically, you are buying a company basically for free. It would be like going to a thrift store, buying a bank buying a safe that you knew the code for, and basically you also know that there's $200 in cash in there, and you have to buy it for $225. So really, you're only spending that $25 to buy that bank or buy that safe. And what you're getting is the $200 inside, plus you're getting a safe that could be worth, $100, could be worth $75. It just depends on what someone's willing to pay for it. And that's kind of how Robinhood is right now, right? They've got a bunch of cash and you're basically buying all that cash practically for free, and you're paying a little bit extra for what the business is actually doing. And that's crazy to think about. Just think about that for a little bit. And it's just a very interesting prospect for Robinhood and where it's sitting at right now. The last thing we are going to look at here today are price targets for Robinhood. So first thing, we're going to take a look at the analysts, see where they're stacking up. So we have 5 that are saying it's a buy. We have 7 that are saying it's a hold. We have 2 that are saying underweight, and we have 1 that is saying sell. And then when we jump down here, we have some interesting data. So these are the actual price targets for those analysts and kind of where they all work out. So we have a high of $36. We have a median of $10.95 and a low of $5. And then an average price target of $12.24. So this is just about a 50% return based off the current stock price of $8.47 if it goes up to this average. And then what's interesting in here is that the median is actually lower than the average by quite a bit, which tells you there's a few people that really believe in this stock for the long term that have high price targets. And then there are a majority of people who are kind of sitting around, that $10 to $11 mark. So very interesting. They're seeing that, that difference in these two prices here. So the $12 average and the $10.95 median. So in my opinion, I am a shareholder of Robinhood and I like the stock for the long term. Like I said, there's a number of reasons. I don't have a huge position in it, because it has a lot of risk that comes along with it, right? There's a lot of risk, a lot of speculation around the company, how far they'll go, what'll happen with them, things like that. How many users can they actually grow to, other things like that. But overall, I think the company is in a good spot. They have a lot of cash. They should be able to make it through any sort of downturn. I think a lot of traders are on that app are, very speculative and kind of use it more. It's kind of more gamified, which could actually work out to Robinhood's benefit, because the more people are on there that are trading frequently, basically the more money and that Robinhood is able to make from that activity and whatnot. So overall, I like the stock. I think it's worth the risk at such a low price. So I don't mind owning it here and even, a little bit lower than this, and, just see what happens over the next couple of years. If things turn around and people again get very interested in the stock market, this stock could easily blow up, 4x where it's at right now. So I personally like the stock. Like I said, always do your own research, make your own opinions. Don't just listen to some random guy on the internet. So if you did enjoy the video though, make sure you drop a like down below. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you hit that sub button. And as always, have a wonderful rest of your day.